Welcome to the Maztech X4-LRF Quickstart Guide. This guide provides a brief overview of the most essential installation steps and LRF menus and functions. This guide will take you from your first unboxing to a mounted and properly aligned LRF system. Warning: the X4-LRF contains multiple class 3R lasers, which emit radiation in both visible and invisible spectrums from the exit aperture. The lasers can be hazardous if not handled properly. For best eye safety practices, it is recommended that the X4-LRF aperture cover remain closed and latched until the product is ready to use. After unboxing, the first item you should locate is the included CR123 rechargeable battery. Plug this into a compatible USB connection to fully charge, which will be indicated by the small red LED on the positive end of each battery. The light will glow red while charging and turn green when fully charged. Once fully charged, the battery can be installed in the LRF unit. First, ensure that the mode knob is in the O or off position. Unscrew the battery cap on the left side of the LRF unit by hand. You may have to hold the tether while unscrewing the battery cap to prevent the tether from interfering with the battery cap removal. Now insert the CR123 battery with polarity as shown on the LRF housing. The supplied battery is provided for user training purposes only. For longer battery life, use a lithium CR123. To power on the X4-LRF unit, turn the mode knob to the R position, which stands for range. Now on the back of the LRF display, you should see an option to confirm the type of CR123 battery you just inserted. Use the L and R buttons to change the battery type. Then press the M button to confirm your selection. For additional battery safety information, see the battery safety section in the LRF manual. The first thing you will want to do after powering on your LRF and selecting your battery option is to calibrate the compass. In the rear display of the LRF, at the top of the screen, you will see the compass heading, which, when not calibrated, will read 0 out of 3, 1 out of 3, or 2 out of 3. To completely calibrate the compass, point the system straight up for approximately 2 seconds, then straight down for approximately 2 seconds. Now orient the system to be level with the ground and rotate it in place a full 360 degrees. The compass system will not show 3 out of 3 when complete, but rather it will now display a compass heading in degrees. If this does not fully calibrate the compass, remove and replace the battery cap. Then repeat these steps carefully until you see a compass heading in degrees on the display. Now we will review the basic controls and functions on the X4-LRF unit. The mode selector knob at the rear of the LRF has 10 different positions. O for off. VL, which stands for visible low. In this position, the visible pointer is ready to activate in a low setting when the L button is pressed. VH, which stands for visible high, readies the visible laser in a high setting. Note that any settings with an H or high setting will require the removal of the blue safety screws on the back of the unit. Also note that higher power pointing lasers are not available in this model due to FDA regulations. Yes, the FDA, not the FCC. X4-LRF models with higher power pointing lasers are available for military and law enforcement purchase by contacting Maztech Industries directly. R, which stands for range, provides a rangefinder-only mode with all pointing lasers disabled. P stands for program, which is identical to the range function with more advanced features further described in the manual. AL stands for aim low. This mode provides a rangefinder function and an infrared pointer laser in the low setting. DL, which stands for dual low, and provides the same function as AL, but with the option of an X4 illuminator, which is sold separately. AH stands for aim high and provides the rangefinder and infrared pointer in a high setting. IH stands for illuminator high and provides the rangefinder and X4 illuminator function, which again is sold separately. DH stands for dual high and provides the rangefinder, infrared pointer on high, and the optional X4 illuminator function. There are also 3 control buttons on the top of the unit. L, which stands for laze, activates the visible or IR pointers depending on your selected mode. Hold this button to keep the pointing laser on, or double-click for the pointing laser to remain on. M, which stands for menu. Single-click this button to cycle between screens on the display, or long-click it to display the menu. Once you are in the menu, use the L or R buttons to navigate, use the M button to make a selection, or double-click the M button to go back. Press and hold the M button to exit the menu. R, which stands for range, will perform a range measurement with a single click, or you can double-click to activate continuous ranging for up to 5 minutes. There is also an LED status indicator at the rear of the LRF unit. When it is red, this means that the visible laser is firing. When it is green, it means that the infrared laser is firing. And when it is blue, it means that the unit is actively ranging. The display at the rear of the LRF displays a variety of relevant information, including your compass heading, laser activation status, battery life, ballistic solution in elevation and windage, currently selected mode, measurement units in mils or MOA, range to target in yards, and cant in degrees. The display will sleep after 5 minutes of inactivity. Click the M or R buttons to wake it up. Important: while the display is asleep, the L and R buttons will still activate the lasers. The X4-LRF will turn off after 6 hours of inactivity. In this case, when motion is detected, the X4-LRF will power up and turn on the display. Both the display sleep and auto-off functions can be adjusted via the X4-LRF menu system. The LRF can be utilized in multiple configurations. It can be mounted perpendicular to your scope on your handguard. It can be mounted above the scope on the X4 diving board mount or on other diving board mounts when used independently of the X4 FCS system. Or it can be mounted on top of the handguard when using the X4 FCS or any scope mount with at least a 1.93-inch height above the rail. To install the X4-LRF on a Picatinny rail, loosen the rail bolts on the right side of the unit and place in the desired position. Then tighten both rail bolts with a 1/2-inch wrench to a maximum of 60 inch-pounds. If you are not using a torque wrench, tighten the rail bolts to 1/4 turn past hand tight. Next, you will want to install the X4 low-profile remote. First, you will want to determine your mounting location. For this example, we will be mounting it on the mag well just in front of the trigger guard so it can be easily accessed with the firing hand. Use the provided alcohol wipe to clean the back of the remote and the mounting area. Then apply the adhesive hook and loop panel to the mounting location and the back of the remote. For best adhesion, let the adhesive panels cure for 48 hours at room temperature. To connect the low-profile remote to the X4-LRF, unplug the protector at the back of the LRF unit and insert the remote cable, making sure to align the red dots on the top of the male and female connectors. The low-profile remote has 3 buttons labeled L, M, and R, which refer to the same 3 buttons on the top of the LRF unit and serve the same functions. The next step is to align the X4-LRF with your scope. Note that while this is similar to zeroing an optic, the key difference is that with a laser rangefinder, you want the laser to remain parallel with your scope center line at all distances, rather than being zeroed to a specific distance. This way you can get an accurate distance measurement from point blank to infinity. There are multiple methods to accomplish this using the included Maztech alignment target. This target is both reflective to make it easier to see your laser at distance and marker safe for when you need to make custom markings when aligning your laser. The target also includes pre-measured alignment markings for 2 different common setups and a 1-inch grid for marking custom setups. If you are mounting the LRF on the diving board attachment on your X4 FCS, then you can simply align your physical reticle with point A and your laser with point B. If you are mounting your LRF on top of a mil-standard Picatinny handguard with any optic using a 1.93 mount, then you will aim your optic reticle at point A and align your laser with point C. If you are not using either of these 2 specific setups, such as mounting the LRF on the side of your handguard, mounting the LRF on a diving board independently of the FCS, or any other offset to your optic, you will need to make custom markings on the laser alignment target for your specific setup. To do this, first make sure your weapon is safe and clear. Then you will need to measure your optic's height over bore. For example, when using a 1.5-inch scope mount on a standard AR, the height over bore is typically 2.7 inches. Using the 1-inch grid on the alignment target, Mark a corresponding point 2.7 inches below point A. Now place your muzzle directly over this marked point and look through your scope and confirm as best you can that your reticle aligns with point A. Now you will fire your laser and clearly mark the point on the target where it falls. Now you have created a laser aiming point just like points B and C, but custom to your rifle setup, which we will refer to as point Z. If you have not already done so, zero your optic to your weapon per your optic manufacturer's instructions. 100 yards or 100 meters is recommended. For the next step in properly aligning your LRF, place the Maztech laser alignment card downrange at 100 yards or 100 meters. If you have the option and can clearly make out the target at a further distance, it is optional to place the target further away than 100 yards to get a more accurate alignment. Once your laser alignment card is in place and you are back behind the optic, switch your LRF to VL mode or visible low. It is easiest to double-click the L button so the laser remains constantly on for the alignment process. Now you can hold your optic reticle onto point A at the center of the target and observe where your laser falls on the alignment target downrange. Use included flathead screwdriver with the elevation and windage adjustment knobs to bring the laser onto the appropriate marked position on your target. Your laser should now be sufficiently aligned with your optic. Once this is completed, you can fire a few test shots with your weapon to confirm zero and confirm your LRF alignment on known distance targets. Now your LRF should be ready to use. While still at the range, set up your weapon and ammunition profile using the X4-LRF menu system or via your smartphone using the optional Maztech companion app, available in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store. This will allow the X4-LRF to capture environmental data for the Weapon Zero parameters in your weapon's ballistic settings. This concludes the basics of the Maztech LRF system. For more detailed information, consult the included product manual or visit maztechindustries.com.